Hey gang, Tony here. I am finally making a video that has been promised for about a month or so, and that is the Ask Me Almost Anything video. And in fact, I'm going to do this as a series because I don't want to sit here for half an hour answering questions. Well, really, I don't mind. I don't want you to have to sit through half an hour of me answering questions. So what I'm doing is probably like a few at a time. I believe I have a total of 30-something questions. So I figure I'll break it up into a couple of videos. That way you guys don't have to, 33 questions. There might be some doubles in there. I haven't prepared at all, as usual. And as you've noticed probably in the last few videos, it's dark in here. I still haven't gotten any bulbs, and it's, again, overcast, so apologize. Maybe I'll try to figure something out for the unboxing videos I'm going to do next. But for this one, it's okay, because who really wants to see me anyway? Alright, so let's start with the first question from... Oh, and I'm sorry if I mispronounce names or anything like that. I suck. First question is from Kirsty Butterfield. This is from 3 weeks ago, yeah, so it's been a while. I'm sorry about the wait for this. Do you have any pets? If so, how many? And did you have pets growing up? That's a good question. I have Luna, the blind kitten. Well, she's not really a kitten anymore. She's about a year old at this point. I have Leo, who you might have seen in my last video with the unboxing of Kara's mystery goodies. So Leo is a Pomeranian. Luna is like a, I don't know, an albino feral cat. Then I have Baby Bird, the cockatiel, and that is it right now. Those are the three pets. I grew up with a lot of animals all the time, basically in a zoo. I mean, I've had not every sort of pet, but I've had many. I've had turtles, tortoises, frogs, salamanders, hamsters, guinea pigs, ducks, chickens, which I only had for a little while, little chicks, rabbits, many dogs, cats, different kinds of birds, parakeets, cockatiels, conures. What else? Never had a snake, though I wanted one at one point. Never had like gerbils or mice, but like I said, guinea pigs and hamsters I've had. Fish. I've had fish. I think that's everything. So yeah, lots of pets. I love animals and grew up with animals, and will probably always have a pet of some kind because they're good companions. Good question. Alright, next up, from Horror Punk, we have a question, who or what inspired you to start writing? By the way, I love the videos. Thank you so much, Horror Punk. Alright, who or what inspired me to start writing? I think very early on when I was much younger, I wrote, but didn't really think of it as like something that I ever wanted to do as a career or to continue doing. It was just one of the things I did in elementary school, really like years ago. It wasn't until the end of my first 4 years in college, so I went through 4 years of college, where I actually went for a Bachelor's of Science for biology, and then later split my major with digital media, so nothing having to do with English, nothing having to do with writing. The last semester, I was doing pretty awfully at that stuff, because I obviously wasn't meant to do any of that. I took a creative writing class, basically just to bump up my GPA, and I had an epiphany at that moment that I really love writing and I really want to do that. So then, for a couple years after, I guess you could say that professor or that class is what finally, like, inspired the writing. It was the epiphany moment that I had. And then after that, as I started writing, as I honed my craft, I would say, you know, writers like Stephen King, Chuck Palahniuk, Kurt Vonnegut, Hemingway, these were some of my stylistic inspirations as I continued to write. Clive Barker to a certain extent. Yeah, so those are like my literary aspirations that I would have. And I think I answered everything? Yes, and that was everything. And The reason I wrote horror is it just happened, to be honest. I didn't even know I was a horror writer until one of my critique partners said, "Hey, you're kind of a horror writer, aren't you?" And I said, "Oh, well yeah, I guess I sort of am." I didn't realize it. Everything I wrote was kind of dark and had speculative fiction elements, and I never really thought to myself, I'm going to be a horror writer. I just wrote, and everything I wrote was in that category for the most part, and yeah, it just kind of happened, which I guess makes sense. Next up, we have Paula P. Paula P asks, what made you decide to become a professor? The reason I became a professor is I kind of fell into it to a certain extent. I wanted to be a writer, so I had to go back to college. When I was deciding to go back to college, I had to figure out, am I going to go for specifically writing or something else? And I decided that it would be pretty hard to make a living as a writer. So I said, all right, I might as well become an English teacher and write on the side. Because that just made, it was kind of like, I was trying to be logical about it. I was trying to say, okay, there's no way I can make a living doing this. So when I first went back to college for my master's degree, I went for my master's in secondary education, which means I meant to go teach middle school and high school. And then after I graduated, I went for some interviews. I couldn't get a job. No one was hiring around me. And I, on a whim, went for an interview at a community college, and they hired me. And I really, really liked teaching at the college level. And even though I'm only an adjunct, meaning part-time, quote-unquote, I still loved that a lot more. Probably because of the environment, probably because you don't have to worry about discipline as much, probably a little because the content is more my level. So I stuck with that. And hopefully eventually I'll go back to school again, get a master's in English, which would afford me the opportunity to become a full-time professor at a community college. I would need a doctorate to become a full-time professor at any other college that's not community college. So that is what so like I said, kind of fell into that. Next up, we have from Fred Poor. Can I have your zombie cereal pillow? No. No, you cannot. That's, my zombie cereal pillow, this guy right here, is from Horror Decor, and it was a limited edition of, I believe they only made 20 or 25 or 30. It was it could have been 50, but it was limited edition. They don't sell these anymore, as is the case with a lot of my Horror Decor pillows, such as the Monster Ball one and the Lil Belial one. These are all limited editions, so no, I'm not going to give those away. Next up, Alyssa White. Alyssa asks, when I die from laughing too much at your videos, how will you feel knowing you killed me? Haha, also, what is your favorite movie, game? And I think there was another part to this that got cut off, so I'm just going to assume it said maybe book, because you said movie, game, and something, so probably book. First part, how will I feel how will I feel knowing I killed you from laughter? Pretty good. I mean, pretty good that I made you laugh. Not so good that you're dead. Don't die. Don't die. Unless they resuscitate you, in which case I'll still feel pretty good because you're still alive, and it meant that I must have been pretty damn funny at some point. Not right now, obviously, but at some point I said something that was mildly humorous to most people and hysterical to you, Alyssa. So I'm glad that someone gets my humor. And okay, favorite movie, game, and book. That's my favorite questions are really, really hard for me to answer because it changes a lot. So I really don't know. I'll say for my book, I always go back to this. Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle. I love that book. I've read it a million times. I've written essays about it. So it's kind of easy for me to say that, even though there are other books that I really, really like and may even like better. But that one is just, it's close to my heart. So Kurt Vonnegut's Cat's Cradle, in case you've never read it, people, totally read it. Read Kurt Vonnegut in general. He's amazing. Was amazing. Then the games. I'm just gonna say Uncharted. The whole series I love. I think those were the first games that really just nailed story, humor, gameplay, perfect for me. I mean, the story was integrated perfectly. It was interesting. The characters the voice acting was just perfect, amazing, actual like humor. It didn't feel stilted. The gameplay was so much fun. If I have to choose a favorite out of the three, I think the second one is probably just like gets everything right for me. The first one was amazing, but the second one definitely one-upped it. The third one I might have to play again. There was a really long time in between the second and third, and for me, and I think I wasn't really remembering the storyline enough. I probably would have to play through all three again. But yeah, Uncharted, hands down. And my movie, I'll go with, I honestly, I can't answer that one. There's too many movies. I love The Big Lebowski. I don't talk about that one very often, and it's not horror, so I could say that pretty easily and not be repeating myself. So that's good. Big Lebowski, it's been forever since I saw that. Dummy with Adrian Brody and Mia Jovovich is a really, really fun indie comedy that I think hit home for me at one point in my life, which might be why I liked it so much. It's just quirky and a lot of fun, I guess, again. And I'll throw a horror one in there, Dead Alive, because Dead Alive. Do I have to explain that one? No, I thought not. Okay, I'm going to cut it off there. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was 5 questions. That's a pretty good cutting off point, because I think I've been talking for about 10 minutes. You're tired of me. I'm tired of me. Let's call it a day. I'll come back with more questions. I'll try to do like maybe a couple of these a week. That way we could bang it out, and you guys don't have to wait too much longer, and you don't have to sit through half an hour of me talking, which I know you love. Makes your nipples hard. Shit, did I say that? No one's watching anymore. It's okay. No one cares. Alright, cheers. I'm coming back with some unboxing videos. Breathe deep in the night.